Yeah, that's my playlist. I do. I know, right? Nadia's voice is like very calming, like the ocean. Right.
Should I keep talking?
Co-pilot. Oh yeah. You know the one who like welcomes the passengers, like that kind of like voice kind of. Oh.
Good, yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Halo Mr. Jing.
Hey, hello everyone. Good morning. Hey, everyone. How you doing?
Doing good.
Okay, fantastic. Larita coming in. Hi, Erica. How you doing?
I'm great, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, Eka, what's up?
Hi, Eka.
Eka, say what's up.
Hi.
Okay, you gonna have some algebra homework you want to ask me about? Okay, in front of my all hands. Okay, all right, show me what you got. That's linear equation.
Sorry for I think it's divided.
Is this x times 2 or x squared?
XC. All right.
So over x, yeah? You have to isolate x from each side. So you have to factor x out.
That's homework.
It brings memories.
Oh, no, that's not how you factor it.
No?
You have to think of distributive property, right? How do you factor the x out? You have to think about like how the x got distributed into two terms.
Only X times 2 and then X times 3.
Z, right? Okay, now you've isolated x, right? Now we can solve x in terms of everything else, right? What is x now?
Rizal, happy birthday. Mas Ijau, happy birthday.
Wait, isn't that X?
No, that's x
Hey,
times
thank
that.
you.
And then you have to divide. No, if you do it. No, you can't divide by z. You have to divide by
Happy birthday.
e plus
Syukuran di
2
mana,
on
Mas?
both sides, right?
Happy birthday.
Because then that goes away to
Ya
1.
guyu wae. Potong rambut lah. Mesti
What?
potong rambut.
Answer 1.
No, you're isolating x, right? So just do that again, okay? Just isolate the x, and then you have to move the terms around so that x is alone. Does that make sense? Try it first and then come to me. Okay?
Harusnya nggak record mulai
Oh.
sekarang dong.
I was on the microphone the whole time.
You're very funny, sir.
What's up? Hey, happy birthday, Rizal.
Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you.
How young are you now?
I'm 20. I'm 27 right now, sir.
Oh wow, okay, that's amazing.
I think we can slowly get started, right?
Yeah.
Check. Okay.
Oh.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
For today's All Hands, actually, I am going to be the host, and Stefan is going to be the moderator. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's All Hands. And if you're all ready, I would like to start with our weekly inspiration. So for today's weekly inspiration, I was actually inspired by two doctors from Turkey. They're not actually from Turkey. They are Turkish, but they are currently located in Germany. And they are the co-founders of the most widely used COVID-19 vaccine, Pfizer, also known as BioNTech in some countries. So Uğur Şahin and Özlem Çeji are a Turkish doctor couple who are the founders of a biotechnology company called BioNTech, which is based in Germany right now. And what this company does is actually research on immunotherapy for certain diseases and providing specialized treatment for each of their patients. And in these last few days, they were able to come up with a new innovation in vaccination, which is an mRNA-based vaccine for different kind of contagious diseases, and they are able to actually use this mRNA-based technology on medicine treatment for cancer as well. And this is a innovation that I actually find are never settled core value in this, and because they are able to come up with a whole new technique when it comes to developing new vaccines and new uh, treatments actually. So when when COVID-19 hit in early 2020, Dr. Shine and Dr. Treji were already actually doing research on different kinds of how different kinds of cancers can be treated through this technology, but they were actually able to foresee that this new virus, SARS-CoV-2, which is the coronavirus, can actually be a potential pandemic, can actually bring a potential pandemic due to its contagiousness rate and also due to its fatality rate. So they decided to put their focus to this instead of working on their previous researches. And I think the way that they decided to step up for this shows be the hero core value. And what they did was they actually brought their already existing technique for using mRNA-based technology for vaccines to this new to create a new vaccine for this new virus. And what an mRNA-based vaccine does that is different than a normal vaccine is actually when you get an mRNA-based shot, you are not exposed to the virus directly. What an mRNA is actually a code for your body to read when it's creating proteins. And most of the uh, how to say, most of the stuff in your body is actually created by proteins. So when you're fighting off a virus, your body actually uses something called antibodies, and those antibodies are basically made of proteins. So when you give a code of a protein of a antibody to your body through a vaccine, you're able to actually fight off the virus without being exposed to the virus itself, which is much safer than our traditional ways of doing a vaccine. And that is what they did with their Pfizer vaccine for the coronavirus. And they actually designed 20 different prototypes for this, and actually only one of them showed success, which is shows I think fail fast core value, and they ran over 40,000 tests. They actually ran this over 40,000 test subjects, and Pfizer vaccine showed 90% efficiency in their test subjects, which also shows use data core value. And thanks to their ability to foresee that this virus can actually be something that is dangerous for the whole world and can bring a pandemic, and their ability to implement their own innovations into something new, actually allowed them to provide a vaccine for this disease within less than a year. So uh, I believe that I also read in one of their interviews that one of the reasons why they decided to postpone their previous researches and focus on this right now was actually see that people were going to be devastatingly affected by this. So they decided to put this as their priority, which also shows I think how others have themselves core value. And now Pfizer is actually distributed to 61 countries all over the world and shows 95% success rate at developing antibodies against the virus into the bodies of those who had the vaccine. So yes, this was my weekly inspiration for this week. And I would like to pass the floor to my moderator, Stefan.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Hello again. My name is Stefan, and right now I'm going to accompany you as the moderator for approximately the next 1 hour. So we're going to start with the vision and mission statement. Who's going to deliver this, whether it's Mr. Jing, Kabayu, or Kopidi?
Okay, Stefan, I'll go in. Thank you, everybody, and good
Okay.
morning to everyone from here in California. And the vision statement I'd like to present is actually this. And this is a visualization that I've been experimenting recently with an artist to actually visualize some of the missions of each particular chapter. Now, I got started first with the HR chapter, since that's kind of like where I'm the interim lead for the moment. And this essentially captures the idea of what the HR mission looks like, is to hire accurately and quickly. So hopefully we can start rolling this out to each of the other chapters, and that would help everybody in the company see kind of like what the actual mission looks like, and hopefully that inspires delight. Okay, that being announced, let's go to the next statement for the mission. Now, I'd like to proudly announce that we have brought back offline canvassing, which was a program that we had originally started at the very beginning of the creation of Bukit Vista when it was just me and Wayana, right? So how do we find our first properties? Well, we went and we knocked on doors. We approached construction sites, we talked to owners face to face, and that's how we actually found the first 100 few properties that entered into the Bukit Vista community. So during that time, I think because of COVID and numerous complications, we've actually put aside this practice of offline canvassing, but still a very effective method. And in a very short amount of time, we generally produce a lot of leads, and we're actually able to physically meet some of the owners and represent our brand in a stronger way. So just to give everyone a picture of what offline canvassing looks like, I made a GIF out of the everybody should go to Bali and help out. We're always looking to recruit. Hopefully this inspires the light. So if we pull down a little bit from the screen, we can take a look at some of the different phases of offline canvassing. Let's start with let's stop there. So there is a component of offline canvassing that requires coordination, and so this is usually done on a laptop somewhere in the field, enjoyed with a cold beverage, and this is how we coordinate some of the leads that come in from the field. If you scroll up a little bit, we'll be able to see some of our offline canvassing team. They're the two most handsome people in Bukit Vista, besides myself, Tendi and Rafik there. Going out and meeting owners. And of course, we got gorgeous ladies over here with Nadine, Wayana, and also one of our interns, Lolita, who came out for the process of also offline canvassing. And this is a well-rewarded success at the end of the day, where they get together at La Plancha after a whole day of going out into the field. So I think these are really beautiful moments that really inspire delight and show us like an old practice that we're bringing back in. All right, now let's go to the final part, the leaderboard. So the leaderboard is a count of what actually came in. So Wayana got the most leads with 7 leads. Nadine followed after 6. Tendi got 2. Rafik got 1 lead. All right, so it seems like the girls beat the boys this time, but hopefully in the future we can add more people to the offline canvassing and inspire delight by finding more property partners that we want to transform. Okay, who won the world? Yeah, that's right, Nadine. All right, thank you very much. I'll go back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jing. Okay, moving on to the weekly mission and inspiration then. Started from Kak Sasha from HAR. Is Kak Sasha there?
Stefan, Sasha is having her day off, so.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Kak.
Yeah. So for this guest, it's on Instagram. So this guest praised us for our excellent customer service, even though she's just inquiring and hasn't booked yet. And if you scroll down a bit, Stefan. Yeah. So one of our agent actually felt so bad for canceling their reservation, and he decided to send some snack actually to the base office in Bali. So yeah, sadly HR can't really taste it, but I hope it's good though for the people there. And yeah, back to you, Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Kak Gray. And then we also have Kak Rose here from community. The floor is yours, Kak. Is Kak Rose here?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning,
Okay.
everyone. So, wait. Can you scroll down? So last week we held a community sharing session with 5 partners from Nusa Penida, and we have hosts from BI, Fatia, on last Sunday. Yeah, on last Sunday we discussed the paychecks in order to increase guest occupancy, and partners were enthusiastic in this session, and some of them recommend that all partners who are um, join the package must apply the same standards so that guests are satisfied and not disappointed, especially in the rolling stay package. And also, we have actionable discovery, the right time, outreach strategy, and also the right topic that very affect their attendance in community sharing session. And for PSS interview, partner satisfaction survey interview, we discovered that compared to Whereby or other online meeting platform, the right channel to conduct this interview is to call partners directly. And yeah, that is from me. Back to you, Stefan.
Okay, then thank you, Karos. And then we also have Kashelin here. Is Kashelin here? Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Stefan. So here's a bit of an update from our employee side achievements, actually. So the first one, so for this one, I believe this is from the marketing team. So the team has achieved 17 inquiries SLA for Instagram campaign. So yes, those people mentioned, Gani, Sharon, and Sasha. Congrats to the people over there. And then next, this is actually a team achievement. So we got 2 MAU signing. So kudos to Nadine and her everlasting persuasion and negotiation skills. I think we all know. And Adela as the approacher and Andreas as the canvassers for both leads. So yay, congrats to the DD team and the canvassing team. And next, I believe this one is from BI, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll start applying full stack trials onto villas real soon, as well as keeping up with helping BD as approacher and got one partner site, the MOU itself. And last but not least, I believe this is from the PR/HR team. So Lalita contacted one of our possible speakers for BPA Talk 17 and got positive response. So yes, BPA Talk 17 is coming soon, kids. So brace yourself, and we're ready to inspire more people to this event. So yes, I think that's all from the employee side update for this one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kashelin. And then moving on to Kanadia here. Okay, the floor is yours, Kak.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. So this update from Project Mrna. So as our way to never settle and to constantly update and upgrade the BV Go to have better and better experience. So we have our latest update with version 1.4.1 on the App Store and also Play Store. So basically, we done some bug fixes, we did some performance enhancement, and we have a new design on the My Property tab. So yeah, that's it. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Kanadia. And then we're moving on.
Well, Stefan, Mr. Moderator, could we actually take a look at that picture that is there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a UI UX thing. Okay. Nadia, could you tell us a little bit more about the old design, new design, so that we can all visualize what we're seeing here?
Okay, sure. So basically, for the old design, let me see. So for the old design, the pictures are actually what is it like? The first one is actually the images here. We not every property have like multiple properties. Some have one, and some have like triples or third or fourth. So we want to make it like what is it like to embed a UI, for example, that kind of part. And so we make it center-wise for the images first. And also the second one is basically the booking summary. So we just realized that the booking summary here the previous one didn't actually stated which booking summary actually like for when or for like which date or which one. So we want to specify it by, the bookings, this actually from today. The property have like 4 arrival, they have like stays, takeover, and like 5 departures. And also we improve the recent reviews. So we realized that a lot of properties have like more than 5 properties. So in this case, we're showing like the 5 more recent reviews. and we gave them like the choices to see the all reviews that we have instead of like scrolling the sites through the reviews. And also we have like the hospitality score. So previously the hospitality score was just like words like cleanliness, accuracy, location, and so on. We didn't give them the context of what actually cleanliness and so on. So we did an upgrade like cleanliness is actually about this. It's from the Airbnb basically. So we just like putting the context in the application.
That's fantastic. Wow, so exciting. All right, thank you so much, Nadia, for the update.
Thank you.
Okay, then we can move on to the compliments at the team target and achievement. Since it's the last day of August, I would like to remind you about our August team, which is the courage of an artist, the mind of an inventor. So actually, does COVID have any update regarding this implementation?
Yep. So basically, for the team itself, this is the team that we have for this month, and we're going to have a new team for next month. But I'm seeing a lot of different innovations, and also people are getting braver, especially with forming teams and also doing projects. So that's good. We'll have maybe next month. I will try to find what are the innovations that have been done for this month, and we'll do a recap. But for the updates on the mission itself, we have one new property actually from the partnership funnel. If we can go down a little bit. Yes, we have Aurelia residents from Ungasan. Maybe Nadine can introduce to us a little bit about this property.
Okay, thank you, Kofidi. Good morning, everyone. So yeah, this is our new property. We got this owner just signed the MOU a few days ago. This is located in Ungasan. This is why the online canvassing and also offline canvassing should be done together because previously last week we have converted many leads from offline canvassing, but this one coming from online canvassing. So kudos to the approachers and also the canvasser as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Nadine. And from the guest funnel, we're closing the month at 23,500, which is very far from our initial target revenue. And as mentioned last week, yeah, it's we'll have to maybe try to think about different ways for next month, on how to achieve the next revenue target. Not much update on that department. So that's it from me, Stefan.
Okay, then thank you for Vivi. And then I think we can move on to the chapter main achievements. Yeah. Okay, started from community. Andy, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. Yeah, for the first, find a strong vision for our community in the future. So, we would like our community as a smart community that inspire delight everywhere, everyone, and every time. And second one, this community sharing session with Nusa Penida partner by Ross. Back to Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Kotendi. And then we also have from HAR, Kak Andre. Is Kak Andre here? I don't think he's here. So who's going to be the representative for HAR? To read for him.
Yep, I'll
Okay,
help.
thank
For
you.
HR, we have finally one of our intern. Thank you very much, HR. We have Modi. And then we are currently working on something new for us, which is understanding the guest segment. This is done by Gray and the team, especially from the marketing team. And we'll be very welcome for anyone to have who has idea on how we can generate this data. So that's it, Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Kopidi. And then moving on to HR, Kak Ara is here. The floor is yours, Kak.
Okay, thank you. From HR side, we've been noticing our past interns career right now on LinkedIn, right? And we see a couple of our interns actually transform and they're able to actually go to top tier company. So that's like one of the things I'd like to highlight to the rest of the company. So I hope you guys are also going to follow that track also. Second of thing is that we are finding that we're actually able to transform even a candidates on trial phase before even they're onboarded. This is one of the testimonial from one of our candidates that was invited on trials but not really accepted. So she said that she's actually learned a lot in Bukit Vista and transformed herself. So yeah, that's the update from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kak. And then we have PD, Kak Bayu here from PD. The floor is yours, Kak.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. From PD, not much since the last 2 weeks we are focusing on fixing operational tool, but we fixed most of them, most of the urgent operational issues on our tools and automation. If you have some tools that you haven't reported, please report it first so that we can also fix it as well. And the second one, this is actually not happening yet, but we want to start this new thing. We call it chapter holiday. So basically, this week we will dedicate the entire week for personal development in PD and improving chapter workflow. So our expectation is that we are going to reduce the regular work that takes time, and then with the one that with low urgency will be postponed but will be recorded and followed up on the next week. And then also regular scrum also probably will be skipped, or if it's not very urgent, we will skip that. And PD members basically will use the time for reading books, articles, learning about best software practice, software development practice, and things like that. And then watching lessons or course, and then also working on side project or optimization that's never happened. It's usually we only talk about that, but that never happened. So we want to use this week for that. Maybe some of you ask why we are doing that. Basically, we want to take a quick refresh to get all the team members to be able to think outside the box, right? Because lately we are in the past few months we are working inside the box only for feature requests, improvement, and things like that. We don't really think that we are giving a solution for the employee or the partner outside of our scope. So that's the goal. That's from me, Stefan. Back to you.
Stefan, can I grab the floor for a moment?
Yeah.
I want to actually acknowledge that as something that truly inspires delight. Having worked in HR for a while, I have seen ideas for employee transformation services. And this is amongst one of the most shining ones that I've seen. The reason why I think is it's bold, right? So it's being the hero. It's trying to do something that really hasn't been done before. And it might break the sort of the comfort zone that we have of what work should be. I think it's actually very bold, and it takes courage to actually go out and say, hey, look, we're going to take a week to actually refresh and collect ourselves and think about how to inspire delight more. I think this is actually something that has a lot of good benefit to employee transformation. And I think it's very innovative because nobody's actually thought and tried to do this before. And I think it's something that also inspires the mission because its purpose is to actually positively transform us so that we can be more creative and think about new solutions outside the box. So that, I think, is something really good. Just want to acknowledge the PD team for creating this new idea. And I'll have HR look after that, and maybe we can implement it to the rest of the company very soon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jing. And then we moving on to marketing. Pak Rizal, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. For marketing, we discussed with marketing and BD intern with Kyla and Jackie that bring the new version of online assessment. And finally, inside Jom BP SLA achieved after 2 months, we will not achieve that. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Kak. And then moving on to the last one, which is from BI, Kalilis, the floor is yours, Kak.
Thank you, Stefan. So from BI, we actually moving on the full stack trial with BI, CM, BD, and also Mas Bayu. And we mostly would like to work with Pak Daniel, Tanjung Bidadari, but it's not agreed yet, and also potential for bilateral choice. And second, we actually discover new opportunities with Bila. We're doing finding the vendors. We find amenity supplier that's very cheap and minimal quantity is 3,000. So if we become a supplier for that amenities, perhaps it also can help sell cheaper to our partners. So that's the opportunity to grow our business basically. Back to Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Kalilis. And then I think that sums up our chapter achievement. And then moving on to our personal updates, started from Rafiq from community. The floor is yours.
Yeah, good morning, Stefan. Thank you. So my update is this is the question regarding the one activity during the car. I always play badminton twice a week to make me sweetie and fresh. Back to you, Stephen.
Okay, thank you, Om. And then we also have Kak Tandy here. The floor is yours, Kak.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan. Yeah, when quarantine, yeah, I do jogging every day and then like making handicraft as well. Okay, back to Stefan.
Okay, and then we also have here Kak Asa. Is Kak Asa here? I don't think she's here, so I'm going to read for her. She's been doing working out regularly, but she almost lost track during her last semester of college. And then we also have Kak Rosia. The floor is yours, Kak.
Yes, gardening, morning running, swimming, and also meditation. Back to you, Stephen.
Okay, thank you, Kak. And then we also have Wayana here. I don't think she's here, so I will read for her. She loves figuring out fun things to do with her family, like making outdoor cooking, and then bringing music and movie what it from the hill, and enjoy this view on the sky and light on horizon. It was magical. And then also staying at nice hotel, doing morning run, and staying in Jogja. And then we also have Kanadin here. The floor is yours, Kak.
Yes, for me it's pretty much the same like Ayana. I think I discovered new hobbies like exercise, online shopping, language learning, and create my own party. Yeah, back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kak. And then we also have Andres here. I don't think he's here. So he loves doing exercise. It's usually by cycling or taking a walk with like weights up equipped. And then we also have Kayla here. She loves playing table tennis because she used to love sports but never tried that one. And then we also have Andre here from HAR. She loves writing on Dropbox paper. The activity seems fun to him. And then from Kasasha, she loves gardening and composting and spending time on Duolingo app. And from Kak Gray here, the floor is yours, Kak.
Hi, yes, thank you, Stefan. So for me, is journaling. Currently waiting for my supplies to arrive so I can start again. Back to you, Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Kak. And then we also have Kak Erika here. The floor is yours, Kak.
Thank you, Stefan. So I love reading during quarantine because me and my sister have a lot of books that we haven't read before, and I used to get bored when I read, but surprisingly, it's fun to read when you're bored. Thank you.
Okay, then moving on to Mr. Jing. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you. Recently, I've discovered something actually through the process of quarantine. I'm going to talk about it later in the announcements, right? But I discovered that the virtual is real. And that this tendency for the virtual being real is going to be something that we're going to be paying more attention to in the future. And I want to talk more about that actually at the end. It's pretty shocking, and I think it's actually pretty groundbreaking. Anyways, that's my announcement.
Okay, moving on to Kak Ara. The floor is yours, Kak.
Mine is online shop.
Okay, that's it, yeah. And then moving on to Kak Shelin. The floor is yours, Kak.
Okay, so it's basically trying out new recipes, but I'm probably not qualified to be in MasterChef Indonesia. But yeah, on a side note, watching people demonstrating their recipes are very satisfying. Like if you guys want to try and check, there's this one YouTube channel called Nino's Home. Like his cooking is actually pretty good, and he roasts you like through his subtitles. So maybe you can try checking his channel out. It's very interesting. Thank you.
Okay, and then moving on to Kavera, who is off today, and also Irene. She loves doing exercise and trying to form a six-pack. And then we also have Lalita here. Is Lalita here?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have this one hobby which is digital drawing. I have like drawing since I was a kid, but decided to try this during quarantine as a hobby. Thank you. Back to you, Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Lolita. And then we also have Akin. The floor is yours.
For me, since quarantine, I started playing more board games and also more card games. Thank you, Stefan. Back to you.
Okay, and then we also have Rian here. He loves playing the app Duolingo because that app is really as addictive as interviewing someone. But he recommends us to also try that app. And then we also have Kabayu here. The floor is yours, Kak.
Mine is discovering nearby places for picnic like that, and never thought there's a really good place just nearby the house.
Okay, yeah, that seems cool. And then we also have Kanadia. The floor is yours, Kak.
Okay, mine is I spend more time on Duolingo and also cryptocurrency. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, and then from Chris, floor is yours.
Me play more games lah.
Okay, yeah, yes, enough. And then we also have he doesn't have any answer. And then from me myself, I love watching films. It's my personal recreation. And then from Carizal, the floor is yours.
Okay, from me is discover new stress relief activity.
Okay, then. And then moving on to Kagani. Is Kagani here?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, it's cycling further. Okay, back to Stefan.
Okay, then. And then we're moving on to Audrey. The floor is yours.
For me, it's reading, learn to play the guitar, and learning to cook fried rice. Thank you.
Okay, then we also have Zaki here. He loves playing piano, investing on stock and with mutual funds, and then playing Valorant and also doing daily workout. And then from Sharon, is Sharon here? I don't think she's here. Yeah. Her hobby is investing on stocks again and playing F1 racing. And then from Victoria, she loves doing embroidery because that is something that herself 2 years ago would never imagine. And then we also have Kalilis here. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Stefan. So once a week, badminton, perhaps discovery during UEFA.
Okay. And then moving on to Coffee, the floor is yours, Kak.
Yep, I found that fixing different part of the house that is broken, like doors, or maybe I'll pick up painting the walls, may be interesting.
Okay, thank you, Kak. And then we also have Kak David here. He loves gardening and watching football. And from Elvina, he loves going back to reading because she has taken a vacuum on reading books up to before COVID. And then from Patricia, she loves learning languages. And from Hakim, uh, he loves having a great breakfast at McDonald's. And then from Michael, he loves reading manga. And from Anis, she loves watching movie every time she eats because it will help her calm and re-energize herself. And then from Dila, she loves applying daily skincare. And then from Bella, she loves creating the daily journal to enjoy the moment and feel thankful. And also doing research for insurance and banking analytics. And from Felix, is Felix here?
Yeah. So the one activity I discovered during quarantine is Hololive.
Okay, then thank you. And then moving on to Anthony, he loves saving random article or lecture videos, but never watch it. And from Fatia, the floor is yours.
Yes, I found that sometimes I do the 5 minutes workout.
Okay. Moving on to Jocelyn, yeah, he loves working out and investing. And from Wira, he loves learning a bit of coding, watching space and engineering documentary. And from Julianto, he loves investing in cryptocurrencies. And from Maxwell, he loves reading articles and taking online courses on Coursera. And also from your part, Hills learning SQL. Yeah, I think that's it for the personal update. And then moving on to announcement. Yeah, is there any new announcement?
Yeah. Hey, heads up. All right. So it looks like we have fewer people, but and that's probably why we're going to finish our all hands a little bit early. In fact, but I want to just take this time to sort of hopefully give a floor for some inspiration here. So currently, as everybody knows, I'm in California, and one of the things that, besides actually being here to support my daughter's education, I'm here to actually discover what the future might hold. Now, this has been always I guess, a tradition in our family for the past few years, right? And it's a little bit tough because it requires, me to be away from my wife and my younger daughter, and away from all you guys too as well, while I'm over here. But I think if we look at, let's say, history, and we look at what's happened before, it's been pretty inspirational. In the past, every time I've actually come back to this place in California, I've been able to learn things and be able to bring these things back to Indonesia that are very difficult or challenging to actually see. One of the things that recently inspired me was this realization that in Indonesia, in the tourism industry, all we see is pretty much doom, gloom, COVID, and it's really just all bad news, right, for the most part. And as Vidi mentioned earlier, it's been challenging to actually achieve our revenue targets. But meanwhile, here in California, we're about to see one of the greatest digital transformations in history. And so I wanted to kind of like show the trends that are happening here. But also, I happened to ask one of my good startup friends, Siki Chen, a simple question. I asked him essentially, what is the climate now for startups? And he told me something that I had totally not expected. He told me that this is the best time in history to get involved in a startup. And I asked him why. And the reason why is this, that essentially, this is what I just mentioned just earlier. I can see some of the BI people are getting into cryptocurrencies. Nadia got into cryptocurrencies. So the thing that's about to happen, I think, is going to be one of the most revolutionary things that has ever happened in human history, which is this idea of digital ownership. Now, most of us are like, okay, what does that actually mean? We understand ownership is like, okay, these are my AirPods. This is something I physically own. This is my speaker. These are all physical objects that we own. But going into the future, you can start imagining things that you kind of own online that actually do speak of your credibility and are useful for transaction, for relationship, and for aspirational purposes. We all have Instagram accounts, and that can be just a very simple example of how like a digital asset can be one of your representations. We all have LinkedIn accounts, and these are also ways that we are able to acquire new jobs and add and network and get our professional voice heard. So what we're seeing right now here in California is that there is more money than ever in history arriving to this particular location to invest in ideas that are going to blow the new world out of the water again. So I totally did not know that this was happening. And I was thankful that finally when I came here, I was able to absorb some of these ideas. Now, what I'm looking at right now is just a vision, right, of what is possible. So this happened before. Back in 2012, I came here. It was almost 10 years ago. And that's when we found out, before it happened in Indonesia, that this idea of sharing economy, mobile revolution, people doing things through mobile phones and applications was going to be huge. At that point in Indonesia, it didn't actually happen yet. But thankfully, we positioned Bukit Vista in the direction right there on something that was tiny at the time, which was Airbnb. And we positioned it correctly, and it grew significantly over the past 10 years. So that is some sort of inspiration that I'd like to share. I don't know exactly what we're going to do in terms of taking advantage of this idea of digital assets, but I do know it is going to be something that is pretty enormous. And just by being here, I've started to notice that it's come into my consciousness. These ideas, I think some of you might have heard of them: non-fungible tokens, NFTs, blockchain, cryptocurrency. These are ways of actually essentially creating a sense of digital ownership. So what does that future world might look like, right? So increasingly, if you think of a Maslow pyramid, you have certain layers in the physical world that accept your physical sort of well-being. You have food, you have things that are physically there. But as we grow more and more into the virtual world, as the internet becomes a greater part of our lives through things like remote work, distance relationships, things like this, then we're going to start looking at digital things to own, like artwork, right? Now you can see that digital artwork that is unique can be sold for as much as real artwork, as long as it can be proven that this particular item is unique. So I think this is giving me a sense of this greater belief in the virtual being real. This is not something that's too strange also to Indonesia. We heard the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Sandi, also speak about this concept as well, arriving to hospitality. And I think it's something that whoever embraces first and embraces more and is able to kind of wrap their arms around probably can start leading in Indonesia. So that's something that hopefully can give us a bit of a head start in terms of where we look and where we imagine and where we believe. And so anyway, hopefully this can be an inspiration, and hopefully this will get us on track for the next big revolution that is going to happen in everybody's lives. And hopefully this gets us a little bit ahead of everyone else who might be also thinking about this particular transformation in history. So big ideas, of course, but also very exciting ideas. And I wanted to share with them to everybody live. Usually it takes me a few years to get this information back over, but hopefully if you're hearing my voice and seeing what I'm talking about, this can be it. Anyways, those were just a few these big exits that happened. You can see there was a lot of big exits that happened 2018 to 2019. A lot of that money that got actually acquired, that got accumulated, is now being reinvested into this new wave. And there's some new companies like Snowflake, which is it's a data warehousing company that just came out, makes it easier for cloud applications to be tested and deployed at the same time. Already seeing a kind of a surge in this particular direction. Okay, that's it. Hopefully that inspires the light, gives everyone some vision to think about. And if you kind of knew it already, hopefully that reinforces your belief that the virtual is going to be more real. And if you don't know about it, hopefully that inspires you to think more about participating in this type of new economy, which is going to see enormous growth. Okay, back to the chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jim, for the insights. And then we also have I think it from Kapera, it's already been shared on our past all hands meeting. And then we're moving on to the core values recognition and mental recognition. Then I think there are 3 new roles started from where would you like to show your nomination?
Oh yeah, okay. So I'd like to recognize Patricia for being the hero. I think she also finished her internship period as well. Basically, I'm impressed that she's very dedicated in working for the digital transformation project on speed, basically, even on her last internship days, and making sure that the project is progressing. So that it will be easier for her just to, let's say, oh, the project is finished and I'm no longer interning here. But she did more than that, and that's really being a hero. So that's it, Stefan.
Okay, thank you, Kak. And then we also have here from Mr. Jing.
Okay. Thank you very much, Stefan. And I will just host and moderators, please, when you do the all hands tonight before, please prompt the rest of the company to think about these core value recognitions. That always inspires more delight when we remember, right? Unfortunately, I'm also one of the late people. I just wrote my things in, but I really wanted to start with this core value of being the hero. What I mean by being this idea of being the hero is being not afraid to be the first person to do something and actually taking courage and action on things that need to be done in order to get the company to move forward, in order to get the mission to move forward. And the first thing I'd like to recognize is the first people I recognize are Nadine, Wayana, Rafik, Tendi, and Lolita. This is back to what we were just talking about in the mission. It takes, I think, courage to decide when to do something like this, because this is extremely offline. There's a lot of uncertainty because of COVID, and there is fear. And I think by breaking through and showing that without fear, we can actually inspire delight. I think this can be a beacon, and it can be a representation of how Bukit Vista takes and accepts challenges instead of sitting there waiting for other things to happen. So I think that's a really clear spotlight on being the hero and taking that courage. The second person I'd like to recognize is, or re-recognize, is Lolita on her Never Settle. So Lolita's been through a very, I guess, interesting internship with ups and downs. But what I'm seeing now in her behavior is definitely a person who is showing persistence, who is showing that they have fortitude and thinking about how to actually proceed forward. So this has been reflected in her work, which has taken on a strategic slant. And I think another thing that fairly I recognized was this, that Furkan was a fairly strong subchapter lead who was guiding Lolita along the way. And after Furkan checked out, Lolita, instead of stepping back and kind of shrinking away, I think decided to step up and fulfill the space and the shoes that Furkan had left behind. And so this is essentially, I think, a great way for anybody, any Vistan to succeed previous Vistan in their work. So that is something that is pretty cool. One last person that I just came to mind, I saw it on LinkedIn. Maybe not everybody will remember, but once upon a time, we had an HER person named Chandra Dewi, right, who was working out of our Baldy base. Very strong, very sometimes feisty, right? She recently got accepted into graduate school. And I'd just like to recognize her here, even though she's probably not listening. She's a past alumni, for never settling. I remember during Chandra's time at Bukit Vista, she had come to me and reported that she had attempted to get into graduate school, but it hadn't worked out. And I was really happy to actually see that things had finally worked out for Chandra, and she finally got admitted after trying for, I think, 2 years during the whole COVID situation. So I appreciate that, because that inspires the light, because it shows that if we do pursue our dreams and we do take action every day to get to our goals, eventually the situation opens up and we're able to achieve what we thought was previously not possible. I think that's an inspiration. If you know Chandra and you want to say what's up, go on LinkedIn and write her a quick note so that she she feels better today, I'm sure. Okay, that's all the core value recognitions that I have for the moment. There's probably more. I'll need to think about it, but I'll pass it back over to Stefan.
Okay, thank you, sir. And then I think that's all for the core value recognition. And yeah, I think that's all. I'm going to floor it back to Akin for the closing for this all hands.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, everyone who has attended. Thank you, Stefan, for moderating, and thank you, Rose, for recording. And I wish everyone a very nice day. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you.